From WJZ, this is breaking news.
I have an obligation to protect this country, and that includes Baltimore.
Now at 6, President Trump says he will direct federal law enforcement intervention to combat crime in Baltimore. This comes as city police record the lowest number of homicides in 50 years. Hello, everybody. I'm Denise Koch, and welcome to WJZ's All Local News at 6. Governor Wes Moore and local leaders have been very vocal in their opposition to federal law enforcement intervention in the city. Communities across the county have spoken out against the use of the National Guard. Tara Lynch is live on your corner downtown. She's been talking with community members about Trump's comments today and how they feel about the possibility of seeing National Guard troops in the city. Tara.
Denise, I did hear from one man who told me he does not think it is necessary for the National Guard to deploy here. He echoed some of the sentiments that we heard from Governor Wes Moore over the last couple of weeks, saying that resources could be useful, but not National Guard troops walking through the streets. We've yet to hear from Governor Wes Moore at this point yet, but we've heard from him over the last few weeks in that war of words between the president and the governor, saying he does not want the National Guard here as well. The president said earlier this afternoon that this is all in an effort to make cities like Baltimore safer. He also said that they are considering deploying the National Guard to Chicago. The president's announcement came during a news conference this afternoon saying he would deploy troops to cities like Baltimore. He did not say when the National Guard would deploy in either city. The president cited a U.S. News and World Report ranking which slates Baltimore as the 4th worst in the nation in crime and murders, despite the city seeing a strong and historic decrease in homicides and violent crime this year. According to the latest data from Baltimore police, Baltimore City has seen a nearly 30% drop in homicides this year. The president's announcement comes after Governor Moore invited him on a public safety walk in Baltimore this month. I did hear from a man who says this type of action is not needed in Charm City.
I don't think this is necessary. I think this is another version of war on drugs, and I think everyone really knows that. The darker the berry, the bigger the target, and I think we're seeing that right now.
I've spoken to a lot of neighbors over the last couple of weeks, including community organizations who say that that type of federal enforcement is not needed in Baltimore. We'll have much more on this coming up at 7 o'clock. For now, reporting live on your corner in downtown Baltimore, Tara Lynch, WJZ.
All right, thank you very much, Tara. We're joined now by Zoom by Mayor Brandon Scott. Good to see you, Mayor. Thank you for joining us. What is your reaction to hearing what the president said this afternoon? Are we having difficulty? I think we're having difficulty with the Zoom connection. There you are. Hello, Mayor.
Hey, hello, ma'am. How are you today?
I'm doing very well, thank you. What is your reaction to what the president said this afternoon?
Well, my reaction remains the same, Denise. We know that Baltimore has just seen another historic month. 7 homicides in August, the lowest total for August on record. We have 91 homicides, the lowest total through August on record. We have made tremendous strides in reducing violence in this city. Homicides are down 30%. Carjackings are down 21%. Shootings are down 21%. Robberies are down 30%. But we're not satisfied. We want to keep that work going, but we do not need or want the National Guard in Baltimore to do that. The best way for us to continue this progress or help us continue this progress that we are already making is to restore the funding for public safety programs that the president cut, pass a federal ban on ghost guns and Glock switches, and repeal the T-Hart amendment that would allow cities to track down those who are trafficking weapons and where those weapons coming from in our city. We do not need that. We do not want to be a part of this big political game because the safety of Baltimore's residents is personal for me. It's why I got into public office. This is why it's been my number one focus in my entirety of my time in public office, and why we've been working with our partners here in Baltimore, from the police department, Monsi, the state's attorney, the attorney general, and even our federal law enforcement partners, to bring these results working with the most important partner, the community. And we know how to do it here in Baltimore. We don't need or want the National Guard.
The president again today called Baltimore a hellhole. He said that before. To your knowledge, has President Trump ever been to Baltimore City?
Well, we know he's been here before because he came to football games and other things here before. And when the president is spouting these fall right-wing talking points, we have to understand that we know Baltimore better than anyone. The people here in Baltimore, they call us Charm City because of the people, our greatest asset. And while we have had challenges and acknowledge those challenges, we also acknowledge the progress that we've made in attacking them. And we will not be distracted from that work, most notably of continuing to reduce gun violence in the city by anybody, the President of the United States included, because that's disrespectful to the people that we have lost, disrespectful for the women and men working every day to prevent violence in the city of Baltimore, to allow anyone to distract us just because someone is trying to spout political talking points.
The fact is, however, that he seems determined because he brought it up again today. What can you do? What will you do if the National Guard is deployed here?
Well, we're exploring all our options. We will take any legal option necessary when and if necessary. Obviously, we will be working with our partners in the state and our governor, Governor Moore, and Attorney General, all of our local partners as well, Denise, as this continues to unfold. But we know that there are ways that the president can truly, really help to help us continue to sustain this historic violence reduction that we've seen in Baltimore. But the way that they are talking about is not it.
All right, very quickly before we let you go, the mayor of Washington, D.C. has acknowledged that crime has been better in the last couple of weeks when they've had this federal interference with their police force. Is there a possibility that it could help in Baltimore?
Well, I think, Denise, I think a few things you have to be reminded of. D.C. is not like any other city. It's not an option for them. The federal government runs D.C., so they have to do what the federal government says. But also, when you look at it in that simple vein, if Commissioner Worley had 500 or 1,000 extra police officers all of a sudden, naturally. But it's about what results are they going to get over time. How many actual violent offenders did they remove from the city of D.C.? How many actual gun offenders did they remove from the city of D.C.? How many people involved in drug organizations, gun trafficking organizations, versus how many people they just picked up for other things? It's about who, not how many people they arrest, whether you're here in Baltimore or anywhere else in the country.
All right, we thank you very much for joining us. Mayor Brandon Scott, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, Representative Andy Harris posted on social media, Republican, of course, Representative President Trump, and I'm quoting, is right. Democrat-run cities like Chicago and Baltimore are drowning in crime. It is time to enforce the law and restore order in our cities. This, of course, a developing news story. We will have more on air and online.